This is Silent Hill 2, and it's probably worth mentioning that the footage you're currently seeing is from the PlayStation 2 version. In any case, I think it looks pretty damn good for a game released in 2001. This is the HD Collection's iteration of Silent Hill 2, which is being played on my Xbox One X. Pretty big difference, right? Well, I thought so too, and I'll be honest, I'm kind of surprised how bad it looks. Before we get into it, I do want to open this video with a disclaimer of sorts. This video isn't going to be a full-on review or an in-depth look at the Silent Hill HD collection. Those already exist, so if you want full-on reviews, then I highly suggest checking out the videos by Twin Perfect or An Eternal Enigma. With my video, I wanted to act as a quick-fire warning to both new players and experienced ones. I'm primarily going to focus on the opening of Silent Hill 2 HD because that's all I need to focus on, as there are numerous problems to be found within the first 30 minutes of the game. If I can, I'll also throw in some issues I noticed regarding Silent Hill 3 HD as well. With that said, let's begin. Alright, so here we are back on the observation deck, and for now I want you to pay attention to the clear visual differences between these two versions. As you can see, there are already some clear discrepancies between the two. One example I can point out straight away is the different texture used for the roads. Now, this might not seem like a serious issue, but it kind of is. It's actually really jarring having such a clean and tidy environment compared to the rest of the game, as it partly destroys the atmosphere and sucks you out of the experience. However, clean roads are one of the lesser problems plaguing Silent Hill 2 HD. By now, you've most likely noticed how dark the HD version looks compared to the original, and this is a huge problem which lasts near enough throughout the entire game. As you can tell by the footage, the original looks a bit more vibrant and more alive than what the HD version does, with its washed out colors and flatter tones. Not only does this affect your gameplay experience, but it also destroys the original artistic efforts of the developers. Other than the game being visually darker than what it needs to be, you'll also be missing out on the original cinematic creativity that was so heavily featured in the PS2 version. Take this scene, for example, that's been playing for a little bit, in which the depth of field is altered to slowly change the focus onto James, whilst the HD collection is missing that altogether. You'll also have to contend with slightly stretched pre-rendered cutscenes, which makes everyone seem, well, kind of fatter than what they did in the original. And now I'll skip a little bit further ahead to when you're actually in the town, and look at the fog. It's messed up. You can clearly see where the fog wall ends on your screen when playing the HD collection. Compare this to the PS2 version, and it's a lot more subtle and believable. But what about the sound? Well, before you even start the game, you're going to have to make a pretty important choice. New voices or original voices? Let me show you a direct comparison between the two, and you can make your own mind up as it plays through.
In my restless dreams, I see that town, Silent Hill.
You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now.
In our special place, waiting for you.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said Mary.
My wife's name. It's ridiculous. Couldn't possibly be true. That's what I keep telling myself. A dead person can't write a letter.
Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago. So then, why am I looking for her? Our special place. What could she mean? This whole town was our special place.
Does she mean the park on the lake? We spent the whole day there. Just the two of us, staring at the water. Could Mary really be there? Is she really alive? Waiting for me?
For myself, I'll always prefer the original voices over the new ones. Now, I do admit the original voices aren't fantastic, they're not the best, but I feel like they do a better job than the new voices in conveying how surreal and emotional the entire game is. The new voices just don't sound right at all. James sounds like he hasn't stopped smoking a cigarette since day one, and Mary's voice is a bit too deep. It's just really off-putting. Also, it appears they've added some kind of reverb to all the voices, which is honestly one of the most worst sounding things this game has actually put forth in front of me. Aside from the dodgy line delivery, it's also a technical choice as well. If you were to choose the new voices, then the lip sync in each cutscene will be slightly off, and that's because the animation of those cutscenes were based off the motion capture from the original actors. Also, I'm not sure if you noticed it, but as I was switching between the old and new voices during that previous demonstration, the music changes. Have another listen.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said Mary.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said Mary.
This lack of care for the original game that's present in the HD collection should be more than enough reason for you to avoid playing Silent Hill 2 HD. But as I've shown, it's not just the visuals and voice acting that take a hit. It's also the entire soundscape of Silent Hill 2 which suffers as well due to this buggy HD collection. Here's another example of something going wrong when the music in this cutscene doesn't quite blend properly.
I thought my father and brother were here, but I can't find them either. I thought my father and brother were here, but I can't find them either.
Issues such as the incorrect music playing, music not blending or looping properly, sound effects messing or being altered, and a whole lot more is prevalent throughout this entire experience. For now, I think that'll be enough of Silent Hill 2. What I'm trying to say is this: if you play Silent Hill 2 HD, whether it's for the first time or you're a returning player who hasn't played the game in years, you're not playing the game the original developers intended for you to experience. You're playing a broken and perverted version of what's meant to be a pretty fantastic horror game. Before I end this video, let's very quickly talk about Silent Hill 3 HD and why I can't even force myself to play through the first few opening segments. Firstly, you only get to play Silent Hill 3 HD with the new voices. There are no options to play with the originals, so you'll have to experience the game with more dodgy line delivery, and that's no fun. Secondly, the sound effects are once again messed up. Whether it'll be different pitches than the original, different sounds being used altogether, sounds missing, or general audio just not working as it's meant to. Lastly, and this is as far as I could get, there appears to be some kind of weird haze over the HD collection in certain scenes that I honestly couldn't get past, as it was making me feel ill when I was playing the game, and I'll show you guys what I mean. So there you have it, the Silent Hill HD collection with all its faults and troubles. It basically comes down to this: would you rather play the early access broken version of Silent Hill 2 and 3 through the HD collection, or would you rather play these two games the way the developers intended for them to be experienced? The answer's fairly simple. I hope this video helped you, and I'll catch you guys next time.